Good morning, grade 7th, and welcome to the online classes of N.L.K group of schools. Today, we'll start with a new topic of English literature, Theme 1, Poem Ozymandias. This topic is on page number 25 of your textbooks, and you may refer the same for the explanation. So, students, let's read about the author of the poem Ozymandias. The author of the poem Ozymandias is Percy Bysshe Shelley, also known as P.B. Shelley. He was a renowned poet of Romantic age and one of the finest lyric poets in English literature. Shelley's love for nature is central to most of his poems. He is best known for poems like Ode to Shylock, The Cloud, and the Ode to the West Wind. This was all, students, regarding the poet. What we come to know in it, that he belonged to a Roman age, and most of his poems are having a central theme of nature. Next, few of his compositions are our Ode to Shylock and The Clouds and the Ode to the West Wind. Right, now the next paragraph, that is this one, is explaining us a few points regarding the poem Ozymandias. So let's read it. Ozymandias is a 14 lines poem or a sonnet. Now what is this poem all about? It is a 14 lines poem that is also known as a sonnet. Students, a poem of 14 lines is called a sonnet. This poem is divided into two stanzas. One is of 8 lines and the other one is of 6 lines. In this poem, the speaker listens to the traveler describing the ruins of a huge statue once ordered by King Ozymandias, Greek name for Pharaoh Ramesses II, who ruled Egypt from 1279 BCE to 1213 BCE. Now the poet is telling that once he met a traveler who told him this about the statue that was all over scattered in the desert. The pieces of the statue were lying here and there in the desert. And whose statue was it? The Greek name of Pharaoh Ramesses II, that is King Ozymandias, who was once ruling over Egypt. He was one of the most powerful ruler of his time. The traveler says that only the ruins of the statue remains. What could be seen? Only the destructed statue, that is pieces of statue lying here and there. The pedestal of the statue has an inscription which asks people to look around and admire the majesty of his kingdom. Ironically, all traces of his power have been wiped out with the passing years. The speaker thus realizes that even the most influential and powerful are mocked by time. Now, next what he tells the poet, that traveler, that on the pedestal of the statue, it was written that you must come over here and admire the majesty of my kingdom, that is the kingdom of Ozymandias, that look how great I am, my work is so good and all. But what has happened? He made the statue just to remain immortal. But what has happened? Time has taken away all his power. He's just lying in pieces in the desert and no one is there to ask that who you are. So students, this was regarding the poem Ozymandias. Let's study the poem in detail and find what the author is actually trying to tell us. So let's move to the poem. Yes, students, this is page number 25 of your textbooks. As you can see, this is page number 25. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So, students, in all 14 lines, a poem of 14 lines is known as sonnet. What we call a poem of 14 lines? A sonnet. Yes. So we'll take a few lines of the poem and understand the meaning, what the author is trying to tell us. So let's read the first 4 lines first. Right, from here to here. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half shrunk or shattered visage lies, whose frown. Now what is the poet trying to tell? The poet met a traveler who came from a remote land, that is, an ancient land, or I can say antique land, right? He told the poet that he saw the remains of a statue in the desert. Two huge legs made of stone stood, and remaining, that is, upper part of the body was missing. Like over here it said na, two vast and trunkless legs of stone. Trunkless over here means without a body. Body means the middle portion of the body below the head and above the legs, right? This part of the body was missing. Next, these two lines, stand in the desert, means it was all alone lying in the desert. The body was missing. Another part of statue, the face, lay on the sand nearby. Now this is regarding the visage. Visage over here, student, means face. The face of the body, the statue was lying far away from the legs, lay on the sand nearby. It was damaged and broken into pieces. What was happened to that face? It was lying apart from the main body, and it was also broken. As you can see over here, students, in the picture. Over here you can see this picture. Where is the face and where is the leg? You can see that? Yes. For a better view, you can see this picture also. Right? So let's continue. Let's take up the next four lines. This, and wrinkled lips and sneer of cold command, till that its sculptor, who well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. Now, what are these four lines trying to tell us? In the first four lines, he told us about the traveler who just made a picture of that statue lying broken in the desert. But now we come to know about the face. What kind of face, the expression on the face was. I'll just explain you. The face of the statue had expressions of displeasure and taunting smile. As you can see in the picture also on page number 25, the wrinkles and lines of the face were also there. The poet says that the sculptor who had made the statue had read the expressions on the Egyptian king Ramesses' face very well, and he was able to copy them onto his statue so accurately. These expressions continued to exist even after the king's death through this lifeless statue. Now, what is the poet telling? That I'll explain you in more shorter language. That the sculptor had very accurately copied the expression of that person on the sculpture so accurately that you can, even after the death of that king, the statue seemed to be full of life. The sculptor's hand copied the king's ruthless expressions and mocked at them, while the king's stone heart brought out these expressions on his face. Now, this statue was made of stone, right? And the sculptor who had made it had very accurately put on these expressions on the face. So the last line, this one, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. The heart was made of stone, but this ruthless expression, he was a very cruel and powerful king who wanted to show his power to all other people around the kingdom, gave ruthless expression, and this sculptor had very minutely observed those expressions and copied it on the face and brought life to that statue standing in the desert. Now, students, this was regarding the first 8 lines of the poem. I hope this much is clear to you. I'll just explain you the whole paragraph in short once again from here to here. In this, the poet is trying to tell us that he met a traveler who was from an ancient land, and he tells the poet regarding a statue in the desert whose middle portion of the body is nowhere to be seen and the legs are standing on a pedestal while the face is lying nearby the statue in the sand. And then he tells about the sculptor who had very minutely observed the face of the concerned person, that is the king Ozymandias, and copied the same in his statue. That it seemed to be a statue full of life. So let's move to the next paragraph now. That is regarding the second half, last 6 lines of the poem. Let's cover the first 3 lines first, from here to here. And on the pedestal, these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my work, ye mighty and despair. Now, what are these 3 lines trying to tell us? At the base of the statue, means the pedestal, at the base of the statue, the words were written. What were the words written? My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty and despair. This all was written on the pedestal of the statue, were engraved. The king introduced himself as Ozymandias, the most powerful king. He ordered all the powerful kings of the world to look at a statue and feel belittled in front of the mightiest king, Ozymandias. He just wanted to show his superiority by writing these 2 lines on the pedestal of the statue. He wanted anyone crossing from that place should read those lines and should understand that how powerful Ozymandias is, and the others should feel complex or should feel belittled in front of him. Means no one should think that he is superior. The superior king is only Ozymandias. Now let's cover the next and the last 3 lines. Nothing beside remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away. Now the poet says that nothing else other than this engraving remains. The statue broke down with the passage of time, and its broken pieces could be seen lying around. The vast desert stretched all around, and it seemed to be endless. You all know that how long a desert is. It stretches long distances, and over there, this statue, that too not a statue, it's broken into pieces, is there. The statue of the great king Ozymandias was nowhere to be seen. It was just broken into pieces. So, with this, what is the poet actually trying to tell? The poem talks about the foolish desire to immortalize himself by erecting a statue. This king Ozymandias had a desire to immortalize himself. That is, he wanted to live in the eyes of others or in the hearts of others for a longer span of time, means for ages. But it had been destroyed with the passage of time. What had time done? Broke it into pieces. The engraving of the platform reflects the pride and arrogance of Ozymandias. As you could see in the 2 lines, my name is Ozymandias, Kings of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty and despair. This was all the arrogance shown by the king Ozymandias. As the statue is now destroyed, the engraving is a mockery at the pride and ego of the king. What is this? This is just a mockery, a fun of what? King Ozymandias. Now he should come and see that what has happened to his statue. No one is just even bothered about the pieces. Today, after the passage of so many centuries, finally there is no trace of king's accomplishment in the vast stretch of desert. The desert is all silent, and the statue is lying shattered. Right? So, students, with this, what we learn? That with the passage of time, nothing remains. The powerful thing is only time, and we should value that. So let's have some word power. So this is the first word, antique, ancient. The traveler was from an ancient land. Next word is trunkless, that is without a body. The statue didn't have the middle portion of the body. The third, visage, that is face. Fourth is sneer, arrogant or cruel smile. Fifth is passions, that is emotions. The sculptor copied the emotions, that is passions of the king, very keenly on the statue made by him. Next word is stamped, that is carved. Seventh word is mocked, made fun of. Eighth is pedestal, the platform or base on which a statue is mounted. You could see this way, and upon that two legs were there. So this is known as a pedestal. Ninth is despair, to give up hope. 10th is decay, ruined part. 11th is colossal, huge. 12th is boundless, that is limitless. And 13th is level, that is flat. So students, these were the words which we learnt in the poem. I hope this is clear to you. And now let's have a quick recap of our today's topic, what we learnt in the poem. So this is a short summary of the poem. The poet met a traveler from an antique land. What he saw two legs without a body made of stone in the desert. The statue was made of stone, and where did he see that statue? In the desert. It was regarding Egypt, right? So next we move to next point. Near to it a face was lying in the sand. Where was the face? Near the legs of the statue, sunk in the sand. Next, who had made it? The sculptor had very carefully observed the expressions of the person's face and carved it on the statue's face, right? And who was that person? King Ozymandias. Next point, it was the statue of great King Ozymandias. Next, he desired to immortalize himself by erecting a statue. What was the reason that he built that statue? He wanted to immortalize himself, that is, he wanted to remain in the minds and hearts of the people for a longer span of time. He didn't want to die. Even after death, he wanted to live. Next, but today, after the passage of so many centuries, finally, there is no trace of the king's accomplishment in the vast stretch of desert. The statue is nowhere to be seen. It's all shattered, right? So students, this was all regarding the poem Ozymandias. I hope you are clear with today's topic and the poem Ozymandias. If you have any confusion or any doubt, or you may contact on your WhatsApp group. So thank you and have a nice day.